Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us from all over the Americas. We are here today with Cristina Consuegra, the co-founder of Galavanta, our wonderful DMC in Colombia. So, Cristina, you're going to take us to new places, see new hotels. We can't wait to see what you have for us. Please start.
Thank you very much, Dominique, and thanks to everyone who's logging in today. It's a pleasure to be presenting once again. And without further ado, let's get started. So as I was mentioning to Dominique, we just got back a few weeks ago from a very, very exciting scouting trip, our first scouting trip after the pandemic and our last scouting trip before I head off on my maternity leave. So I was just at the limit to make sure I visited all these new properties. And the exciting thing about these properties is that they have opened right as the pandemic was taking place, or right before everything shut off about a year ago. And then during the pandemic, they actually managed to open and improve many things. So it's been very exciting. So we're going to start off with El Cielo. El Cielo is in Medellin. So we're going to start from very city to very wild. So we started off in Medellin, as everyone knows. That's in the Andes Mountains. It's a beautiful city, very exciting. And in Medellin, we always talked about, for those of you guys who have worked a lot with Colombia, we always talked about how there was always lacking a good hotel that had luxury, that was quiet. As you know, Medellin is a very busy party city. So a lot of these cool hotels were very loud. But there was also boutique, because then you had the Marriott, which was very corporate. And then you had Patio del Mundo, which is very boutique, but there was nothing quite in the middle. Like we have at the, in Bogota, for example, with the Four Seasons Casa Medina, which is a very boutique, cool property. And finally, this beautiful property opened, and it's called El Cielo. And it is by the same founder and family that owns El Cielo restaurant, which is a renowned restaurant, not just in Colombia, in Medellin and Bogota, but they're also in Washington and Miami. And El Cielo opened. It's in a very trendy part of Medellin, but also very quiet. So in the bottom part, as you walk in, you find this beautiful bar, and this is called El Cielo Bistro. So the great thing is that it's going to be open basically, 7 days a week for guests. And it's going to be a more casual version of the food from El Cielo, which is going to be a great option, especially for those clients who on Sundays, they don't really want to go out for dinners. And there's not many options open for dinners on Sundays in Medellin, as some of you know. So you have this really great, lovely bistro part with a terrace, and then you go off on the side, and that's the entrance to El Cielo restaurant. So the restaurant, which was originally located in Medellin, in another part of the city, relocated to be within the hotel. And this is one of the top restaurants in the country, and it's a very renowned restaurant also in all of South America, because of its, it's a fascinating exploration of Colombian cuisine, and it's partly molecular, very experimental, very sensorial. So, for example, part of your dining experience, because the entire meal consists of you can only do a tasting menu, and this tasting menu is usually between 10 and 15 courses. But courses can be, the coffee is a course because it's a presentation on its own. When they serve the coffee, they bring in the coffee in a little coffee plant, and then there is with dry ice, you have a smoke coming out, and this represents the fog that creates in the Andes to enhance the flavor of Colombian coffee. So it's a sensorial experience, and it's a must for all guests. And the restaurant is absolutely beautiful, as you can see here. It's very exclusive, it's very exquisite. And then you have this little area here in the back called La Playa, or the beach. So it's all sand, and this is where people can take off their shoes, have a coffee, have a drink, and it's very comfortable. Then you walk up or take an elevator to a second floor, and that is the lobby of the hotel. This is where the actual hotel part starts. So it's a very comfortable lobby, very spacious, lots of light. As you can see here, the hotel has lots of windows. And then we have in total 28 rooms. So it's good size to have groups, which is great, because I know some of you guys, maybe you're planning groups of 10, 12 people, and sometimes we need twin beds. So the great thing is that they're very flexible in this sense. The rooms are nice and spacious, very modern, great linens, obviously. Certain categories, so junior suites upwards, have these really cool bathtubs located inside the room for those people who want to have, you know, a bath with a view. And then the bathroom, it's very interesting. The bathroom does have a window, which I know can be a bit of a sensitive subject for some. Only the shower part, not the toilet part, but they do have a curtain for those people who want a little bit more privacy. So as you can see here, you can see the layout of the shower from the inside of the bathroom and then from the outside of the bathroom. So it's cool and trendy, but it also respects people's privacy. And then finally, you have a lovely rooftop with a view of Medellin. This is, one of the best parts because it has, heated pool. There is a gym. There is also a spa area, and it really is a hotel. You know, the experience that they have designed at the restaurant is so special, and it's so, you know, glamorous and very, very, very well thought out and detailed. And this is also being represented at the hotel. So I am happy to tell everyone that we all have now a really great option of places to send clients when they're in Medellin. In terms of starting rate, it starts at $156 for the superior room, which is the entry-level room, and $156 includes breakfast. So I think it's a very reasonable rate for such a lovely hotel in Medellin. So that's it for El Cielo. If anyone has any questions, let me know. Moving on to El Rio. So then after Medellin, we visited other places in Medellin. We did visit many other hotels, but El Cielo was definitely our favorite one. It's definitely one to highlight, and I think it's definitely the best fit with our clients. Then we drove 3.5 hours over to Puerto Triunfo. Puerto Triunfo is basically in the middle of nowhere. And very few people know about this area, but it's absolutely stunning, and it's a very interesting place because it's a place where you have lots of rivers that come in between, and it's a place where you have lots of quarry mines. So because of the terrain and the geography of the area, the rivers have very little sediment, and then they're very transparent and very clear. And this, the hotel, El Rio, is called, you know, after the river, basically translates. And the great thing about this is that it's because it's surrounded by rivers, and that's where that all the activities are about. This hotel was basically opened 2 months, I think, so January, February 2020, so right before the pandemic. And as they've opened again, they've had a really, really, really good uptake with clients because it's such a special place. You have in total 7 rooms, sorry. You have in total, very boutique, it's family owned, very special. So you have the main area, which is this really cool kind of a main house. And in the main house, as you can see here, you have the different rooms. So you have 4 rooms in the main house, and then 2 suites separate, which are located outside. So the great thing is that they've designed everything. So basically every guest in every room has their own space inside of the hotel, whether it's here, whether it's in the dining area, or whether it's in the pool area. Each room is very comfortable. All the rooms have a air conditioning, a direct TV. They have a little private terrace. The bathrooms are amazing. You have, hot water, great pressure. All your amenities are Loto del Sur, which is the top brand in Colombia. And it's very comfortable and trendy. As you can see, the design is very modern, contemporary, cool. And it's all in the middle of this beautiful, lush jungle area. And very remote as well, just to be clear. It's always 3.5 hours driving from Medellin. So it is a little bit of a trek to get there, but once you're there, the great thing is that there's lots of activities. So here, for example, is the fifth bedroom, which is the kind of like the big kind of like majestic area. And this was a kiosk that was used by the family, and they were going to take it down. And then the husband said, "No, why are we going to take it down? We should make it into a bedroom." The family's absolutely lovely, so they did make it into a bedroom. It does not have air conditioning, so it is going to be for those people who, want to be more, surrounded by nature and want to have more of an open experience. You still have your mosquito net, so you don't have any issues with bugs. To be quite honest, we didn't have any issues with bugs, even though you were so in nature. So this is a really lovely space for those families who want that more immersive experience. And it's right beside, it's probably 50 meters from the main house. So it's quite nice and private, but it's also not too remote. So as I mentioned, the hotel is surrounded by these beautiful rivers. So right off the property, about 100 meters from the main house, you have this beautiful river where you can go swimming, you can go kayaking, and then there's this number of activities that you can do in the surrounding area. So for example, horseback riding. They have about 10 horses on the property, and they can bring more horses in if there's a bigger group. And then you have beautiful journeys. So they can be 1 hour or they can be multiple hours, depending on the experience level of the guest and depending on the interest of the guests as well. They also have 4 buggies, which are these really cool, or KTVs, which are these really cool carts. I went on them with my big belly, 31 weeks pregnant, and it was totally fine. It was really fun. You really don't feel, and the great thing is that because you're doing lots of off-roading, you don't feel the impact because they have this really cool suspension system where you can go on this really cool off-roading. We went into the rivers, we crossed mountains, we crossed quarries, and it was really fun and really safe. So the great thing is that all the activities include transportation with these buggies, which is really fun. So there's a series of different visits to different rivers around the area. So for example, one of the visits is an hour and a half by buggy, which, trust me, is a lot more fun than half an hour in a normal SUV. And you go to this beautiful river called Rio La Miel. Rio La Miel is one of the most beautiful rivers in all of Colombia. And trust me, these photos do not do it justice. I need to get better photos to better explain how beautiful this place is. So the great thing is that once you get there, they have a boat. You basically go up the river, so about an hour up the river to these beautiful waterfalls. And then once you're up there, you take these a tubing, these inner tubes, and then you go back down the river, and then back down the river, and then you head back on your buggy to the hotel. Another great activity is going to a series of waterfalls. So that's a shorter ride. So that's about 30 minutes on the buggy. No, I think it was more like 20, 25 minutes on the buggies. You get to this really cool, to this stop. You trek about 20 minutes, and then you get to this beautiful waterfalls. I trekked there. And I have proof of like me and my big belly beside this waterfall, and it was easy. So, people of all ages can do it, kids can do it. So it's a really accessible area. And then you have a series of 2 more waterfalls, which was, that one I did not get to, but it's a really cool half-day experience. And this can be combined with other experiences such as going inside caves, which is an experience that we're just opening now. And then we combined it with another river experience, which is going to Rio Claro, which is that kind of like that other last river. And then in Rio Claro, we can go kayaking. And then there we had this beautiful picnic that they did. They have a barbecue. We made burgers. Alexi had a salmon. So it's a really fun full day experience of, being active, being in nature. And so this property in particular, because of the number of activities, we recommend for at least 3 nights. So first night you get in, relax, stay by the pool, maybe go for a swim in the nearby river, and then 2 full days of activities. You could easily do 3 full days of activities and be busy, see different things, and really enjoy yourself. So we really recommend this property for people who love nature and who love adventure. Moving on to El Nido del Cóndor. So this is in the coffee region. So then after Puerto Triunfo, we drove about 7 hours along the Andes Mountains. Beautiful drive. So for those people who do like to drive, it is a very beautiful drive. The roads are really are very new and very safe, actually. And then, I mean, we got there the long way because we were doing our scouting trip, but technically you can fly easily into Pereira. Pereira is one of the main airports of the coffee region, and then you can drive over about an hour and a half to 2 hours into the hotel, or you can fly into Manizales Airport. We don't recommend it because the connectivity is not as good, but then you can still fly in there, and then it's about an hour from Manizales Airport. So relatively accessible. And then Nido del Condor is very special because it was a family who founded it because they through their exploration, they're a family from Manizales, which is this main city, and they were exploring the area and they found this specific spot where two Andes condors had a nest. And the condors, just to give you an idea of how special they are the part of the icons and part of the symbols of not just Colombia, but Colombia, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Argentina, and I think Venezuela. This is because it's such a special and symbolic bird. It is part of our emblem and in many countries as well, but it's also a highly endangered bird. For example, to give you an idea, in Colombia, there's approximately 100 to 120 specimens left. That's it. There's not more than that. They have been hunted down, unfortunately, because it's such a large bird. Farmers have always thought that these birds were eating the calves and they were eating their animals. But in fact, they only eat dead animals, not live animals. So there's always been a misconception about this bird. And unfortunately, they were hunted down significantly. And right now we're left, as I said, between 100 to 120 specimens in all of Colombia. So it's highly endangered. It's very rare to see this. And this hotel is in a very special spot because just down here, there's a nest. So and the beautiful thing about this bird is that they're always in couples. So they're monogamous birds. And they choose a mate for life and they stick together. And in this case, when we went, there was the couple and they had a baby condor as well. The great thing is that it's almost guaranteed to see this bird, and it's not just the condors that makes this place special, but it's all the different types of species that you can see in this place. So basically, El Nido del Cóndor, which is the nest of the condor, is this beautiful tented camp in the middle of the Andes Mountains. When I say in the middle, it literally is in the middle. It's a small mountain, a plateau that falls in the middle of a canyon that surrounds this plateau. So to get there, the only way is to either walk an hour and a half down a valley and up again, or to cross on one of these guys. This is a little gondola that the hotel has built to get people across. And to give you an idea, the hotel has 5 tents. There's a main lodge, which is this green building here. And then this is the staff quarters, which is all it was all built with reused wood. And then the rooftop is all made with grass to blend it in as much as possible. And everything, all the materials were brought in via gondola. So the entire thing was built via gondola. That's how special this place is. Once you get there, and I crossed the gondola, totally safe, very easy for people who are nervous. They can do the hour and a half, depending on your how active you are, but you can do it easily walking. Once you get there, it's this absolutely majestic place with beautiful gardens, as you can see here. And there's all sorts of flowers. As you can see, these little yellow flowers, they're filled with hummingbirds. And it's a very, very special place. It's not necessarily a place like El Rio, where you can go and do tons of activities. It's a place to go, relax, be in nature, enjoy it. The quantity of birds is mind-blowing. And even those for people who are not bird watchers, it's still absolutely impressive. It's owned by a family. The couple, the main couple, they live there. They host you. It is a very special place, very boutique, very boutique and very detailed. So every tent has its own. As you enter, as you can see here, you have a little front deck, and then you enter, you have two, like it's like a sofa, but then you can put it into two separate beds. So you can have an actual, four people, a 4-person family sleeping in the same tent. And then you have the main bedroom, so the main bed, very comfortable, top quality linens. Even though this is a colder area, you're 2,400 meters above sea level, so it does get quite chilly. The tents have a special a warming system. So every night they give you a pack, so you can put inside of your duvet to warm you up. So they heat up these packs, and then that way, once you get into your bed, it's nice and warm. And they have these really lovely chimneys, and they make these special balls with reused wood. And then all you have to do is just light it up a little bit, and the whole thing just lights up on its own. It's very safe, and it warms up the tent a lot in the evening. So during the day, it's actually really nice weather. Yes, it does rain, it does get cloudy, but on average, just with jeans, a long sleeve shirt, and sometimes you need a windbreaker, or sometimes you need a bigger sweater, but on average, it's very comfortable weather during the day. Then you have this beautiful deck. All the decks overlook the canyon where the condor flies in and out. So basically, we spent an entire day reading, working, and watching condors flying past us, which was absolutely stunning. Then the bathroom, there's hot water, and trust me, it gets very hot, so it's very nice, very comfortable. You have all your amenities, and really, yes, it is rustic for some, but it has really all the comforts that one would need in such a remote and special place. Aside from the relaxing and being in nature and seeing the birds, there's also biking. There's really great trekking trails to different types of waterfalls. And then there's, just being there with the family, sharing with the staff. They have bonfires every night. And as I mentioned, it's a place for those people who want to be a bit more calm, do a bit of trekking and biking perhaps, but it's a good place. We were there, and we ran into a French couple, and they had been there for 3 days just reading and enjoying nature and the views and just relaxing. And sometimes people have to do that and want to do that on holidays. So that's El Nido del Condor. And lastly, we finished our trip in Savannah Lodge. Savannah Lodge, then we flew from Coffee Region. We did a quick layover in Bogota, and then we took another flight to Yopal, which is the main city of Los Llanos. And then we drove about 3 hours to this very special lodge. So this one, they opened literally in March. They opened on March 2020, and in March 2020, they closed, unfortunately, through the pandemic. But they've opened up initially with a Colombian market, and they've had lots of success. And even though it's very remote to get there, they've had a very good, it's the first luxury, a non-tented camp place that we have in this area of Los Llanos. So this is located on the river, the Cravo Sur River, which is one of the big rivers of the Los Llanos region. The property has its own landing strip. So for those people who don't want to do the 3-hour drive, the flight from Bogota directly to Los Llanos, to the lodge, is about an hour. It's very easy. You have to do it on a turbo propeller, so it can be a Grand Caravan or a Piper Navajo ideally, or a Cessna. So, up to planes that are up to 8 passengers. It's a very short and very nice and safe flight. It's approximately around $2,500 for that flight. So maybe you can do it on the way in, and then on the way out, take a commercial flight. So people can combine it if they want to do different ways of getting there. The property has 6 bungalows in total. All the bungalows, as you can see here, are quite separate. So they're very private. They each have its own, each bungalow has its own dip pool, which was very relaxing, especially here in this area. It can get quite warm. We didn't feel it was that warm, but the sun and, activities take place because you're here mainly for wildlife. Activities take place early in the morning or later in the afternoon. But then during during that 10, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. period where it gets quite warm, it's amazing to have your own pool. The staff will bring over, drinks, and we had snacks. So it was very nice and comfortable. The rooms inside are really comfortable. Top quality linens, great mattresses. You have these really lovely living room areas, aside from your bed, a hammock. So it's very lovely. It's very fresh. They don't have air conditioning, but they do have a fan that works very well. And trust me, at night, we felt zero heat. So they're very comfortable despite not having air conditioning. They have ensuite bathrooms, all of them. And the bathrooms have an exterior shower with 2 shower heads and amazing hot water and amazing pressure. That is one thing. You turn on the hot water and within seconds you have hot water. I think that's a big highlight for being in such a remote place. It's so comfortable. You have great amenities, beautiful details throughout the room. Very comfortable. So for those people who really want to have that wildlife, a llanero cowboy remote experience, but also want that significant level of comfort, this is an ideal property for them. They have multiple areas throughout the property to relax. So there's this lovely area right beside the river. We spent lots of time there. It's very fresh and beautiful views. You also have this main kiosk area, and this is dining and living room. So you can do both, just spend the afternoons reading there. Lots of hammocks everywhere. So it's really comfortable. And then in terms of activities, because you're located beside a river, a lot of the wildlife viewing happens along the river. So you have the big Cravosur River, and there you can do fishing and some wildlife watching. During the rainy season, which is from April through to November, you can actually take the boats further down the river where you can go and see pink river dolphins. And then you have smaller rivers that break off from the main Cravosur River, which are smaller. And then here you're going to be able to see things more like capybaras, monkeys, if you're lucky, an anaconda. Trust me, you're lucky if you can see an anaconda because it's such a special animal in this area. And you can also do some fishing on the rivers. There's amazing horseback riding. During the dry season, there's a great horseback riding along the sandbanks. During rainy season, we go into the savannas, which are absolutely beautiful. And you can see deer, capybaras, giant anteaters in that area. They can organize bonfires and dances and really beautiful dinners there. So it's a very special place. And as I mentioned, it's very, very comfortable. So we have 2 minutes more to have our 30-minute webinar done. Guys, I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have.
Thank you very much, Christina. I am sure everyone enjoyed it as much as I did going through your beautiful country, seeing those
Thank you.
And what I like also, because we have so many requests now for smaller property buyout, a lot of things beside the hotel in Medellin, but everything is small enough to be just even bought for one family or a group of friends. Huh?
Exactly. And the rates, I mean, if you think about, for example, El Rio, to give you an idea, the suites start at $200 US. So for a full buyout, it's $1,200 for a full buyout of the entire property. Savannah is more expensive. It's at 700. So doing a full buyout is a little bit more expensive, but still very doable, right? So luckily the conversion between US and Colombian pesos is very much in your favor.
Plus it's very close to the US. So you really offer an amazing destination. And for clients who don't want to maybe leave the Americas even quite now, or, we don't know yet about Europe this summer. We hope so. But I think right now when people are looking for April, May, June, you're definitely, and beyond, huh? But I mean, you're definitely a fantastic option. So we do have a few questions. Céline, was I said, when you're arranging the airport transfer, So depending on the flight, the time flight might be an issue. You can see that's the first question. Huh? So I suppose you mean Céline is because it's a little sometimes far away, or because of the driving distance to go to the main city and then you have to reconnect. Huh?
Yes,
That's
yes.
the way
So
that's probably what you meant, huh, Céline, given the
yeah.
location of these places.
Yeah, I think normally these locations, we always put them in the middle of an itinerary. So we always start, for example, in Bogota, as most international flights fly into Bogota, and we usually end in Cartagena because everyone wants to visit Cartagena. So we put these destinations in the middle, so that way we can have a easy connectivity with national flights.
You know that, huh? Bruce, you said, do you know the altitude of El Rio?
It's about 200 meters above sea level.
Mm-hmm. Freda would like to know, for the non-city property, how many nights do you suggest in each?
So El Rio, at least 3 or 4, depends on how many activities people want to do. El Condor, you can do 2. If you are okay relaxing and taking it easy, I would recommend 3.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very special property. And then Savannah Lodge, at least 3 as well, just because the day that you get in, you just want to wind down and then have a good 2 days of activities if you want to really enjoy it. If you only have time for 2, that's fine. It really just depends on how active you want to be.
And it all depends if you do like you took the car or you just fly in. Huh? So depending on the time it takes you. Ducky, you wanted to know the Savannah rate. Does they include all activities and food?
Savannah rates, it's 700 for a couple, and that includes all meals. And no, it does not include activities, but the activities are not very expensive. So, you know, it doesn't add on too much to the budget.
Mm-hmm. And Bruce would like to know, said fairly warm and humid at El Rio, I expect.
Warm, yes. Humid, no. You know, I mean, we also went in March when it's a non-rainy time of the. We did get rain, actually. We got rain in the evenings, but it didn't feel humid during the day. It's similar to Medellin, where you have a nice in the evenings, you have nice and cool weather, and in the mornings. So you don't have that humidity of the tropical jungles of Tayrona, for example.
Mm-hmm. I do not see any more questions, so I don't know if we have anyone else or if we just say goodbye. But it was so interesting, Christina. Thank you for your time. I mean, it's lovely. Each time I finish a webinar with you, I'm like, okay, when do we go? So I know we said we fun trips, so
yes,
we need to plan them quickly, and then you let us know where you're going to want to take us.
Thank you. Yes. Definitely. We have to start planning soon now that things are starting to open up.
Yes.
Things are getting easier.
Yeah. And especially, I think Americans now are all getting vaccinated and more ready to go. We see that in the number of requests. So
exactly.
Adriana, you said thank you so much. Mucha suerte con el baby. Yes.
Gracias, Adriana.
Vicky, thank you. So excited. I love the condor. Yeah, me too. I think to see those big birds once in your life must be very but every location you show just one question actually, how long would it take to do whatever you show us? If we said three days, so you need or could you squeeze it a little more, or
you could squeeze it a little more.
If we did it to just go and do this
8 days, 10 days
10 days to do it well.
Yeah. And if you throw in private charters, easy peasy.
Perfect. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you.
Guys, thanks everyone. Thanks,
and, we'll see you tomorrow for more webinars. Thank you, my dear, and we'll speak soon before your baby.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Everyone. Bye.
Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes.
Gracias.
Ciao.